There's something called the Pax Islamica. The key is the GCC. So the game plan is this. You have to destroy the GCC. Why? Because the GCC is the linchpin of the American empire. So what the GCC does is this. It sells oil and then for US dollars. Where does it put US dollars? It puts US dollars into the American stock market. This is investments of the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait into the US financial markets. As you can see, from 2012 up to today, it's been exploding because the US financial markets is one of the safest places where you can put your money. The intention is, hey, if I cut off oil and these countries no longer have access to US dollars, they're forced to spend whatever resources they have on protecting themselves. And then guess what happens? The stock market collapses. The stock market collapses. The stock market is the real growth engine of the US economy. The entire US economy collapses with it. There are about maybe 7 companies in America that accounts for about a quarter of stock market growth. These 7 companies, of course, are AI companies. NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google, Apple, okay? These are the companies, and then these companies are heavily invested in by the GCC nations. So if these nations are no longer able to invest in the stock market, these companies will collapse in value. And with that, that would lead to economic depression in America. All right, so that is the situation for today. Today was just an overview, guys, okay? I know we covered a lot. I know there's a lot to take in, but over the next few weeks, we will explore each issue in depth and really understand what's really going on. So any questions, guys?
If other countries such as Italy, France, China or Russia, they have also joined this war, what's the cause of they joined the war? Because of oil or those resources?
That's a good question, okay? So I don't want to spend too much time on this question because we will explore this question as we move along. So the question is, what brings the world into this conflict? And the easy answer is just oil access, energy access, okay? They need to protect their energy supplies because remember, it's a very complicated situation because Europe is now fighting Russia. So Europe is not buying any oil resources, energy resources from Russia. Therefore, it depends a lot on the GCC. If the GCC is not providing them energy, then Europe will go bankrupt. So Europe needs to enter this war on behalf of the Americans. And then you have Russia, which cannot allow Iran to fall because if Iran falls, then they'll come after Russia next. China is actually neutral. China's okay with either scenario, but that's just the way that the Chinese system is set up. So we're going to explore this question as we move along, but it's a very complicated issue, and each nation will have its own different strategic interests to consider. And what we need to know, what we need to figure out is that this war in the Middle East is actually connected to the Ukraine war. And then as we move along, I'll show you how these two things connect together. We'll continue this discussion on Thursday, okay?